I'm Mark Wishnia with your Townsquare Media Sports Report, brought to you by Crop Production Services. 4 of our local football teams are still alive in the playoffs. Beginning with 9, Shiloh got a 12-8 win over Hankins. This week, Shiloh takes on Thompson, head coach Fanon Barker.
You know, Thompson's an excellent team. They're very physical on both sides of the ball. They're really big up front. They're easily going to be the biggest team we've seen up front. And then the athletes they have behind those guys are phenomenal. Starts with the quarterback, Schwabe. He does a great job zone read, controlling the offense, staying them in the good sets, throws the ball really well. So certainly going to be a very tall task for us.
Century beat Fargo South last week, 49-27. This week, Century continues against a very familiar foe in West Fargo. Head coach Ron Wingenbach.
Well, we played them earlier in the year. We played them in the semifinals last year, so this is the 3rd time we've played them now in a year's span. You know, it's going to come down to execution, hanging on to the football, and make sure that offensively we establish field position. I think those are 3 critical keys for us as we go into the game.
Bismarck defeated Cheyenne 30-19 last week. The Demons face off against Minot this week, a team they shut out 14-0 back on October 7th. Legacy season has come to an end. It was a historic season for them, not only picking up their first ever varsity wins, but finishing the season at 6-4 and making it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, a 41-6 loss at the hands of West Fargo ends their season. St. Mary's postseason continues following a win over Central Cass 28-6. The score can be misleading, though. Head coach Dan Smraker says Central Cass played well defensively, and they were actually the first school this year to hold St. Mary's to less than 100 yards rushing. However, the Saints got the win, and they'll take on Hillsboro this week. Head coach Dan Smraker.
They're actually a team that's very much like us. They like to run the ball. They've got a very good quarterback who runs the ball and throws. They're kind of an option in a power football team, and very similar to us. You know, they've 8-1 record, a very good team, play good defense, so we'll have our hands full and have to play very well Saturday.
And congratulations are in order to the Century Patriots boys cross-country team winning their first ever state championship. They invite the public to celebrate with them on November 3rd from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock at the new gym at Century High School. In college football, NDSU won their 2nd straight, beating Northern Iowa 24-20. The Bison take on Youngstown State this Saturday at home. The Fighting Hawks won their 7th straight, defeating Weber State 27-19. UND will play Northern Colorado Saturday afternoon. UND hockey went on the road for the first time this season last weekend and picked up their first 2 losses. They were swept by Minnesota Duluth 5-2 and 3-0. UND is on the road again this weekend as they take on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. In the NFL, Green Bay fell to Atlanta 33-32, and Minnesota fell to the Bears in Monday Night Football 20-10. Carson Wentz and the Eagles dropped a heartbreaker in overtime to the Cowboys 29-23. And that's your Townsquare Media Sports Report, brought to you by Crop Production Services. I'm Mark Wishnia.